In Japanese sake making, there is a specific profile known as natogire no yoi umakuchi. It translates to a rich, savory sweetness, reminiscent of fine wasanban sugar, that somehow clears the palate with a beautifully clean, crisp finish. Engineering a liquid to impress on the very first sip is a relatively straightforward task. Crafting a beverage with a fine-grained, smooth texture that acts as a comforting, everyday companion, one that never fatigues the palate over the course of a meal, requires a vastly more difficult balancing act. Mastering this exact balance is the driving philosophy behind Hakubotan Shuzo. Founded in 1675 under the shop name Kadoya, the business stands today as one of the oldest active breweries in Hiroshima's historic Saijo brewing village. By 1839, the Shima family's pursuit of this refined flavor profile caught the attention of Japan's highest political tier. A selection of their sake was presented to Masamichi Takatsukasa, Imperial Regent of the era, who was highly impressed by its quality and clean finish. The regent personally bestowed the title Hakubotan upon the sake, drawing the name White Peony directly from the official family crest of the aristocratic Takatsukasa house. This imperial validation moved the brewery's output beyond local commerce, placing it on the tables of Japan's ruling class as a recognized standard for regional craftsmanship. That aristocratic endorsement established Hakubotan as a center of gravity for Japan's intellectual and artistic elite over the next century. The brewery evolved into a gathering place for the nation's most celebrated creators. Their craftsmanship also gained traction far beyond domestic borders, eventually securing a showcase at the sprawling 1900 Paris Exposition, alongside the world's leading industrial and cultural achievements. Back in Hiroshima, the brewery's cultural footprint continued to expand. In 1915, they hosted a direct collaboration between two of Japan's most legendary figures. The novelist Soseki Natsume provided sweeping calligraphy for a hanging scroll painted by the master artist Taikan Yokoyama. Decades later, a close friendship between the brewery's president and the world-renowned printmaker Shiko Munakata resulted in Munakata carving original woodblock prints for the company. Munakata's distinct, bold strokes still serve as the brewery's signature visual design today, illustrating how Hakubotan became a physical canvas where high visual art and the craft of sake making permanently overlap. While high-profile endorsements built the brand's prestige, the actual mechanics of its flavor rely entirely on subterranean science. The crucial ingredient is Saijo's local underground subsoil water, famously known as ichi-no-mizu. This day of visualization compares the biological reaction of brewing with hard versus soft water. Hiroshima's low mineral water restrains the yeast, enforcing an elongated, gentle fermentation curve compared to the rapid spike in hard water. In the final stages, this slow fermentation coaxes out a tender, smooth umami profile without harsh off-flavors. The pristine, wasanban-like sweetness Hakubotan is known for isn't the result of late-stage additives or engineered sweeteners. It is the direct, measurable consequence of mastering this specific local geological variable. Harnessing that soft water requires an intense degree of manual control, leading the brewery to revive the historical Edo period brewing methodology known as Kimoto Zukuri inside their oldest cellars. Biologically, this process represents a total rejection of modern commercial yeast cultures and artificial lactic acid. Instead, the brewers leave the vats open to the environment, waiting patiently for natural, ambient lactic acid bacteria to take hold. Once the environment is right, the brewers initiate the Modosuri process. This grueling, labor-intensive pole ramming is conducted by hand in traditional wooden hanogiri tubs, systematically waking up the indigenous house yeasts residing in the cellar walls. Following this manual agitation, the nash undergoes a meticulous three-stage process called sandan shikomi, feeding the yeast at precise intervals to ensure a slow, complete fermentation. This historical approach yields the structural depth and robust profile required for the Gyo Otokoyama line, producing a sake capable of undergoing extensive long-term aging. Securing these ancient foundational practices gives the Shima family operational stability to engineer highly individualistic concepts for the contemporary dining table. They developed Peion, a modern expression that leverages the refreshing acidity of white koji, It is designed from the ground up to be savored not from traditional ceramic cups, but from a delicate wine glass to highlight its crisp finish. They also integrate deeply into modern regional culture. By partnering with the professional soccer club Sanfrecce Hiroshima, they released the uniquely designed Junmai Sanfrecce Cup, anchoring their historical product directly to the local sports community. Expanding their culinary reach, the brewery engineered specific regional sakes, like Beni Kanman, as dedicated pairing modules. Its profile was carefully tuned to complement the sweetness of Hiroshima's famous local momiji manju, maple leaf-shaped sweet bean cakes. These specialized lines apply the brewery's historical technical strengths to specific modern contexts, from wineglass service to targeted regional dessert pairings. The brewery's daily operations are centered in a renovated earthen floor retail space, which functions as both a storefront and a repository for the community's brewing history. The space actively preserves its heritage architecture, maintaining the traditional counterweight Hanador doors alongside a dedicated exhibition hall that permanently displays the original artistic works of Shiko Munakata. Guiding this operation, the 15th generation management enforces a strict philosophy over the brewing staff, absolute faithfulness to foundational basics, paired closely with prioritizing their mental and physical health above aggressive production quotas. As a result, the brewery deliberately rejects the pursuit of rapid global expansion. They adhere to a strict policy of managing their output exclusively within the scope of direct site, ensuring their export network remains limited to regions where flawless quality and transparent relationships can be securely maintained. By treating local science and centuries of cultural heritage with equal respect, Hakubotan Shuzo continues to deliver a comforting, everyday companion to the modern table.